When Grand Theft Auto: Vice City first appeared in 2002, it instantly became a landmark in video game history. For many players, myself included, it was the title that defined the very idea of style. Neon lights, an 80s soundtrack, palm trees, pink suits, and a sea of cocaine, Vice City was like a virtual Miami bursting with life, madness, and nostalgia. When Rockstar announced the definitive edition years later, I was as excited as a kid on Christmas morning. The idea of returning to Vice City with modern graphics, improved controls, and technical upgrades sounded perfect. But after being disappointed by the GTA 3 remaster, I stayed cautious. I wanted to feel that same energy I once did, and while I found glimpses of it, the definitive edition ultimately left me with mixed feelings. The game takes us back to 1986. At the center of it all is Tommy Vercetti, a tough gangster who's just been released from prison after 15 years. His boss, Sonny Forelli, sends him to Vice City to handle a drug deal, but everything goes wrong. The money and the drugs disappear, and Tommy has to find out who's behind it. Along the way, he climbs from the streets all the way to the top of the criminal underworld. Even after all these years, Vice City remains one of the most striking cities ever created in a video game. It's a blend of Miami, Scarface, and the flashy style of Miami Vice. Beaches, luxury mansions, streets filled with sports cars, neon-lit nightclubs, and those iconic palm trees, it all has a charm of its own. When I first heard the intro theme again and saw the city bathed in the orange glow of the sunset, a strange wave of nostalgia washed over me. The definitive edition adds new lighting effects and updated textures that make Vice City an even more colorful place. But at the same time, I have to admit that some details feel unnatural. The exaggerated colors, odd shadows, and the plastic-like shine on the characters sometimes break the original aesthetic. Vice City was always about style, but this version occasionally trades elegance for kitsch. Vice City remains a classic in every sense. It's a game about freedom, power, and the gradual conquest of a city. Even after 20 years, the core gameplay loop, missions, making money, buying businesses, and of course, driving and causing chaos in the streets, still works surprisingly well. The controls have been revamped, taking inspiration from newer GTA titles, and I have to say, this is one of the changes that truly makes a difference. Driving feels smoother, shooting is more precise, and the camera is far more responsive. Finally, the game can be played without the frustration that came with the old control schemes. Mission checkpoints are another welcome improvement. You no longer have to repeat entire lengthy missions because of one small mistake, something that used to be downright painful. On the downside, the definitive edition brought along a few bugs. NPCs sometimes behave oddly, cars disappear right in front of you, and collisions occasionally fail altogether. Even so, I still had a great time playing. Missions like All Hands on Deck or the legendary helicopter chase in Phnom Penh 86 still deliver that old-school adrenaline rush. And when I was cruising down the beach in an Infernus with Billie Jean playing on the radio, I was reminded exactly why I love Vice City, for that pure, stylish sense of freedom. From a graphical standpoint, you can see the effort to modernize, higher resolution, improved lighting, new skies, more detailed water effects, and realistic light reflections. From a distance, it looks impressive, but up close, the flaws start to show. The character models often look odd, some animations feel outdated, and the lighting sometimes ruins the atmosphere instead of enhancing it. Still, I have to say that Vice City retains its soul even after all these years. It's not about technical perfection, it's about atmosphere. The radio stations are still absolutely brilliant, covering everything from pop to heavy metal, with every track perfectly matching the era and the vibe. The soundtrack remains one of the best ever featured in a video game. The voice acting also holds up beautifully. Ray Liotta as Tommy Vercetti is still phenomenal. His voice gives the character charisma and strength, making him one of the most iconic protagonists in GTA history. Unfortunately, this is where the darker side of the remaster shows itself. When I first launched the game, I ran into some bizarre bugs, cars disappearing, sudden weather changes, and characters with strange, almost unnatural faces. Some of the glitches were downright funny, while others completely broke the immersion. After a few updates, things improved, but the game still feels like it needed more polish. The frame rate occasionally fluctuates, and textures sometimes load in slowly. Thankfully, the PC version runs fairly smoothly without major crashes, though the situation tends to be worse on consoles. Despite these technical shortcomings, Vice City still has an undeniable charm. It's a game that doesn't rely solely on technology, but on style, music, atmosphere, and that unmistakable essence of the 1980s. Grand Theft Auto: Vice City Definitive Edition is a nostalgic ride that brought back the same feelings I had years ago, a longing for freedom, chaos, and style. Unfortunately, technical issues and some visual changes take away a bit of the game's dignity. Still, I have to say I truly enjoyed playing it. Vice City remains one of the most charismatic cities in gaming history. When the sun sets, the streets light up with neon, and the radio starts playing 80s hits, it's hard not to smile. The remaster may not be perfect, but it's still a return to a legend. And even though a few unfinished details left me disappointed, the feeling of cruising through Vice City once more, with Tommy Vercetti behind the wheel of a sports car, makes it all worth it. That's why, for me, it deserves a solid 8 out of 10.